All right, so with the tape measure rolled out, I'll show you we are now at 68. Yeah, 69. We're at 69. Today in the shop, I'm taking on another challenge with my TJ. I'm hopefully gonna make this thing even better on the trails by making it more stable. And what I'm talking about is on not the hard rocks per se, but on even the most basic access trail. Now, since I've moved up to long arms and 1-ton axles, this Jeep has been a rock crawling monster. Absolutely love this thing. But I hate driving this Jeep down your regular access trails where you're not rock crawling, where instead you're actually trying to make good time getting to the fun trails, you know? So what the problem is the fact that every time this Jeep hits the smallest dip or the smallest rock, this whole body is constantly rocking, kicking you around. It beats you to death trying to drive this thing on the trail. Now, I'm looking to have more stability, have less body roll, and I'm also looking to make it more stable when I'm off camber, because right now, whenever this Jeep goes off camber on a hill climb or any kind of situation where the whole body is leaned to the side, man, this tub on these springs try to unload to one side, and I'm telling you, you really feel it where the whole body is kicking over and you feel like it's gonna roll so easy. Now, the way I plan to fix this is I'm gonna be using this, Antirock sway bars. If you're thinking to yourself, why not just disconnect your sway bars? It's just as good. Let me explain. In the past, I've actually disconnected sway bars on all of my Jeep builds, either by the Rubicon electronic sway bar disconnect, or if it's by just using the manual sway bar in-link disconnects.
Oh, you can do better than that. Free up your mind, use your imagination.
That's what I've always done. That's how I've built my Jeeps. And in my previous builds, that has been just fine. But here's the difference. This is a short wheelbase.
You got a little tiny car.
All of my Jeeps before this were all long wheelbases, JKUs, Gladiators. And here's the difference. When you're going to a longer wheelbase and that Jeep is climbing over something with that front wheel, by the time the rear wheel comes up, the front is stable. Not so much in short wheelbase like this. Because the tub of this Jeep is so light, so small, the wheelbase is so short, any articulation from one axle or the other really throws this whole Jeep off, and it affects the other axle completely. Now, the way I'm gonna try to show you this is I've set up some cinder blocks in the driveway. And what I plan to do is I'm going to drive over these things with and without this new sway bar. And we're gonna take a look at what kind of sway and kick this body really shows with and without a sway bar. So I've already disconnected that front sway bar. We've gotten it out of the way. I'm gonna take this Jeep outside. We're gonna see if we can see any body flex. Now, I'm not completely sure if this is gonna show up in the video very well, but when I'm going over all those little bumps, I'm telling you, you can actually feel the sway and then the reverse kick off of every one of those little blocks that are in the driveway. And this tells me that the body's just rolling free. And that's what the sway bar is actually meant to prevent, is actually to keep stability in the body. It's not to control the axles like everybody thinks. Another thing that everyone is always worried about is losing flex whenever they have a sway bar on. And Antirock is built to get you still the maximum amount of flex. Now let me say one thing, and that's that if you're looking for the biggest numbers on an RTI, CTI, most times you're going to get that with a disconnected sway bar with nothing holding you back. But if you want usable articulation, flex with the most stability and the most traction to the wheels, something pressing down and holding the Jeep steady while you climb, that's why you want something like an Antirock. Now, because I'm an idiot who loves to blow my money and stick metal together, I've got an RTI ramp in the backyard, and we're gonna flex this thing out and we're gonna measure, see how far I make it up my ramp, which is a 30-degree ramp. So let's check that out now. there it is. There's my flex right now. After that, I start spinning tire. I got no more traction, and that's with lockers on. Let's check it out. We're gonna do a measurement. And like I said, this is a 30-degree ramp, so it's not as easy to climb up as your basic 20-degree. It's a pretty steep angle. But let's pull a measurement and see where we are at. Here we go. This is the measured flex. I'm at 71 inches. Let me pull this back up. Oh, can you see that? There we go. The middle of the tires is 71 inches, which is not too bad. I mean, you can obviously see the Jeep flexes pretty well. I mean, I'm pretty proud of that. This is a 3-link front, triangulated 4-link rear, and she does really well at flexing out, but I think we can do so much better. We're gonna put the anti-rock on. We're gonna see if we lose a little bit of our TI flex. But like I said, if we do, I'm not gonna feel too bad about that because I don't believe we're actually gonna lose any usable flex. And there is a big difference. So I'm gonna pull the Jeep down back in the garage now that I'm all sweaty and hot. And we're gonna throw this anti-rock on, which should be a really quick job. All right, so before we put this bar on, the first thing I want to do is answer a couple questions that you might have. Now, what makes the anti-rock bar different from your normal sway bar? This is an anti-rock bar. Notice how it tapers down to a pretty small bar. Now, this isn't just a standard stick of metal. Instead, this is what's called a torsion bar. This is actually steel that's meant to twist and then rebound to its original shape. They've actually sized this beam to fit the actual weight and body style of your Jeep so that it's actually going to work appropriately to flex with the body instead of resisting the body. So the next thing you're probably wondering is the arms. These arms actually are set up so that they are fully adjustable and you can articulate them by lining up these splines and putting them in any articulation, up, down, whatever you need to do. And also, once you get that set up, you can choose one of 3 holes. And what happens here is this is a lever. So when you change which hole you're going to use, it changes the resistance that the body has to rolling. So if you need this beam to be stiffer, then let's say you choose the closest hole, which gives less leverage to the torsion bar when the body tries to flex. Now, I've already talked with tech support at Rock Jock about this before I even made the purchase. One of the things that I wanted to know is, since I have 1-ton axles, I have a body stretch. I wanted to know if this was actually still going to work for my Jeep because mine is not stock. Mine's nowhere close to stock anymore. So my worry was, well, what do I need to do? Do I need to order a different torsion bar for these 1-tons and for this stretch? And Rock Jock assured me that the bar that they send for the TJ and the LJ is perfect across the board, no matter what kind of drivetrain setup you have or the tire size. This bar is made for the body, not for the drivetrain. So take that out of the equation. Don't worry about it because the weight of your wheels, tires, axles is not going to be what's at play. Instead, it's going to be the body that it's attached to. So if you buy a kit for an LJ or a TJ, then it's already properly sized to the LJ or that TJ. And then you can fine tune using the adjuster holes. Now, how does it set up to your Jeep? Well, it slides through this. This is UHMW. This is not polyurethane. This isn't a bushing. It doesn't wear out like something like that. It's not going to squeak. It doesn't need servicing. You hammer this into the front of your frame if you still have the stock front frame, and the bar just articulates around and it just turns through this hole. This UHMW is extra hard. It's extra slick, so it holds up a long time over the service life of this sway bar. As far as putting this thing on, it's not technical. It's not hard. It's really quick. We're gonna knock this out. Hopefully everything lines up perfectly with my aftermarket axle setup. Let's find out. I'll get right back to you. Fast forward just a few minutes and it is done. And let me tell you, this looks far superior to any stock sway bar that you would already have on. So much better. Now, I can't wait to see what it does on the trail. And first, we're gonna test our work. We're gonna put it on the RTI, see what changes we've made, and we're gonna see if we can feel any difference just on my little bump pad out front with the center blocks, see if there's any noticeable difference in the body sway. All right, so that was huge improvement. Now, I don't know if it comes through on the video yet, but I can tell you this. Inside the vehicle, you can actually feel that the body isn't swaying and bucking with every move. Instead, it's a lot smoother as it goes down, and you don't feel like you're being slung around as much. So I can definitely tell you that so far, I'm loving this. And I may even make the sway bar a little bit softer by moving which hole I'm using on the end link. So now, let's jump back in this Jeep and let's go flex it out. All right, so looking so far, down droop right now, we are nowhere near to vertical and maxing this out. So we are safe and in the green there. Beautiful. Now, as far as up travel, let's check that out. Oh, look at that. We are right below my bracket that holds my air compressor. So we may need to adjust these just a little bit to make sure we're safe there, because obviously we've got a little more room. We're still not even bumped out. We could actually cut a little bit off that bracket to make some more room if we need that to have more up travel, which I think we do. So we can mess with that here real soon. Not a big deal. Now let's do a measurement and see where we're at. All right, so with the tape measure rolled out, I'll show you we are now at, 69. We're at 69. Center line on our tire is 69 inches. Or before, without a sway bar, we were 71. 2 inches difference, and yeah, we could probably still go up a little bit more, especially if I had that locker working again. I know the locker was working last time, and now I'm already spinning tire. I'm not even gonna mess with it right now until I get back down off the RTI. But I think with the locker on, we would match the same measurements that we got without a sway bar. I am absolutely happy with this Antirock so far. I can't wait to hit the trails with this thing. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below. I'll answer anything you have. So guys, I will be back on the trail in no time, and I'll be bringing the camera with me to shoot some video. And when I get back on the trail, I will report how much this has actually changed the characteristics of this Jeep, because I'm telling you, the TJ without a sway bar is absolutely miserable. It bounces and beats you to death with that short wheelbase. So I will be happy to report back and tell you just how much this mod actually changed the comfort and drivability of this TJ. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day in the shop, and I will see you on the trail.